Happening now at 5 o'clock today, nearly 700 firefighters will be back out at the Asahi Lake Fire just north of Gallup, trying to keep it from getting any closer to about 50 homes. Right now, the fire has burned more than 12,000 acres on the Navajo Nation, and none of it is contained. High winds forced firefighting planes and helicopters to stay on the ground again yesterday. And because of the wind Cassandra just talked about, it may happen again today.
And some homes in Nachiri are under evacuation orders. Many of those families are now at a local school gym. We are monitoring the situation, and we will have more on the fire coming up in our next half hour. Trouble to report this morning in both campaign camps for New Mexico governor.
Gary King's new campaign manager has abruptly quit, and Susana Martinez's campaign is now being accused of making up a quote from a supporter. The Washington Free Beacon caught tweets coming from King's new campaign manager, Steve Weservelt account. Now, one from 2 years ago reads, and I quote here, his words, not mine, "Fat girls should not wear bikinis." So, after just 2 days on the job, Weservelt resigned. Mr. King says that Weservelt's comments are not up to the standards of what I expect from my employees. Now, Martinez's campaign is also under fire this morning for sending out an email last week, this email showing words of support from Juan Garcia, who owns a bakery in Las Vegas. The email has Mr. Garcia praising Martinez as a pro-business leader and bashing Gary King as being anti-business. But Garcia says while he agreed to support Ms. Martinez, he never said anything to bash Mr. King. A statement from the Martinez campaign explains the gaffe by saying, quote, "We regret that an apparent miscommunication with our staff resulted in this situation."
An Albuquerque man popped 11 times for DWI has only one conviction, and some say it's because of his name and his connections. Since the 1980s, 63-year-old William Macchiondo has been arrested time and time again on DWI charges. In 2009, DA Kerry Brandenburg was criticized for dismissing his 9th charge after it took too long to try the case. There were suspicions he got special treatment because Brandenburg has known the DWI offender's father, a prominent attorney, Bill Macchiondo, for years. Now, to avoid a conflict of interest, Brandenburg sent Macchiondo's next 2 DWI cases to Sandoval County DA Lemuel Martinez. Macchiondo's charges were also dismissed. A criminal complaint from a crash last October says Macchiondo blew a .08 or above. Those results were thrown out because the breathalyzer machine's certification had expired.
Bloodshot, watery eyes, stumbling, that's boilerplate. We've seen that fact finders and juries, they demand more.
Lemuel Martinez's office would not explain why Macchiondo's 10th DWI was dismissed a week before it was set to go to trial last year. A follow-up now to a shooting at an Albuquerque motel that we first told you about yesterday morning. The victim is alive according to APD, but his injuries are so bad, police are investigating this as a homicide. It was about 1:30 Tuesday morning when someone shot the man several times at the Roadway Inn near Manalapan University. Cops tell us the shooting started as a robbery. The victim has not been identified. It is unclear whether he knew his attacker. 6 criminals in Albuquerque with outstanding warrants are now off the streets. This after a big roundup yesterday. This is video, or that was video from the roundup last year. Robert Mondragon was arrested on a felony warrant for burglary and drugs. Crystal Machete was picked up too. She's accused of running over a detective. And police arrested Jovan Martinez, saying that he stole an APD bait car while carrying meth and a gun.
Well, 5:05, the Albuquerque Police Department is working to get more officers and train them better. This is all in response to the Federal Department of Justice report that is highly critical of APD for using excessive force. Just yesterday, more than 40 police cadets began their 26-week training course at the Police Academy. Part of their schooling now includes new intense crisis intervention and scenario-based training.
Looking ahead to some of the requirements that the DOJ may be sending our way, we've improved and enhanced a lot of the training, especially as it pertains to community policing, constitutional policing, crisis intervention, and child endangerment.
Despite the DOJ report and protests here in the community for the deadly police shootings, the training director there says recruits are coming in from all around the country. Well, the balloon pilot from Albuquerque, who was killed last weekend in Pennsylvania, died from a neck injury, not a heart attack as we originally thought. An autopsy report says Jeffrey Hooten here fell from the hot air balloon as he was trying to land it in East Pikeland on Sunday. Police say he fell while reaching for a rope that deflates the balloon and was then dragged between the basket and the ground. The Federal Aviation Administration says Hooten may have fallen out when the balloon bounced after a hard landing. He had flown at Balloon Fiesta here in Albuquerque. Well, hantavirus has now officially killed one person here in New Mexico this year. A 67-year-old woman from San Juan County died after getting the disease, according to the state health department. Hantavirus spreads through the droppings of infected rodents, including deer mice there. Since it was discovered back in 1993, New Mexico has had 95 cases of hantavirus and had 40 people die from it. This is more than any other state.
Communities in rural New Mexico are getting a cash infusion from the feds to help pay for schools, roads, and law enforcement. The money is from a federal program that helps rural communities pay for firefighters and police officers, as well as help with the financing of constructions for public schools and roads. New Mexico is getting $37.7 million. No word yet which towns will split the money. A new study puts Albuquerque on the map of America's Sin Cities. The study, which was posted on the Daily Dots website, calls Albuquerque the capital for meth. The analysis is based on Twitter chatter. It's all based on the Twitter. The study dubbed Denver Pot City, while Pittsburgh is known for booze. Some speculate the reason meth and Albuquerque are mentioned so often on Twitter is because of the hit TV show Breaking Bad.
I mean, of course, it's an issue, just like any other drug, but I think it's a stereotype mostly.
Based on the show, you think?
Yeah, definitely the show.
All right, well, Albuquerque's film office says Breaking Bad brought a lot of positive attention to the city. They say fans fly here not to buy meth, but to visit local sites featured in the show.
All right, I want to get to the bottom of this, find out the truth about meth use in New Mexico compared to other states. So I did some research online. In Tulsa County in Oklahoma in the last couple years, police went after 979 meth sites.
Okay.
In about 2 years. You know how many they went after in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County? 97. About 10 times less.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really is just a perception, and there's facts and data that shows that.
Okay, exactly.